Chapter 350. A strong people gathering. Feeling his fleshly body become stronger, Kang Chia clenched his teeth and once again took out a red diamond blood crystal and refined it. 17th, 18th. Kang Chia refined one by one. The intense feeling of pain was like a flood, ferociously impacting his will. During this period of time, Kang Chia spent almost as many days as he did years. And although every day his physical body grew stronger, the pain caused his back to be drenched in cold sweat long ago. Finally, after refining the 20th red diamond blood crystal, Kang Chia's fleshly body underwent a metamorphosis, and at the same time, he fell unconscious. When he awoke, Kang Chia excitedly checked his fleshly body, and excitedly realized that his 9-turn Zhuang had already broken through to the late 5th layer, and his fleshly body was even closer to a top-grade treasure weapon. Kid, want to refine the 21st? The Dan Emperor's voice came from his mind as he warned, I feel that your kid has already reached your limit. If you continue to refine it, your will collapse. It's fine. Kang Chia sniffed. In his eyes, a blade-like cold light flashed. He coldly said, refine. Continue refining. The big deal is to suffer a serious injury. I haven't heard of an example of anyone dying from refining the red diamond blood crystal. Although you won't die, if your will is washed out, this will cause you to fall down the realm, Emperor Dan reminded. There's no such thing as a free lunch in the world. If you want to reap the rewards, you need to pay for it first. I, Kang Chia, will bet on this one. A cold light emerged from Kang Chia's eyes as he gritted his teeth. If I win, I become a dragon. If I lose, I'll stay in the sea of misty stars and keep cultivating in seclusion until the divine separation stage before going out. Kang Chia was fuming in his heart. He didn't believe that his limit was 20 red diamond blood crystals. Could it be that the Kang Chia hegemony blood that caused the dark era of the Flood continent was only this talented? 21st. Kang Chia took out a red diamond blood crystal and quickly refined it. A terrifying sensation of pain struck, knocking a gaping hole in his will. And although this gap was immediately bridged up, the intense, heartbreaking pain made Kang Chia unable to resist letting out a low roar. 23rd, 24th. As each red diamond blood crystal was refined, Kang Chia's face grew paler and paler, his essence dropping to an extreme level, a very dangerous state. 28th. Kang Chia clenched his fists and clenched his teeth. His body was trembling. It was obvious that his will was about to be unable to withstand it, as if it was about to collapse. 29th. While Kang Chia continued to refine the red diamond blood crystal, he took out his blood knife and slashed it straight on his thigh. Using this stimulation of blood, he used it to ward off the onslaught of intense pain within his body. Kid, you're crazy. Seeing this, Emperor Dan roared. 30th. Kang Chia paid no attention to Emperor Dan as he let out a low roar and once again took out a red diamond blood crystal, hardening it under Emperor Dan's shocked gaze. At this moment, his blood knife was still sunk into the asterisk of his thigh, and a stream of purple blood, following the blood knife, slowly flowed down, staining the entire ground purple. Boom! Right at this moment, Kang Chia felt a roar in his brain and fell straight to the ground, fainting. What a crazy guy. It's a good thing he possesses the Kang Chia hegemony blood, otherwise he would definitely die. Emperor Dan's Yuanying came out from the reverse heavenly cauldron. His divine thoughts scanned Kang Chia's body, and after finding it unharmed, he sighed in relief. It had to be said that Kang Chia had won his gamble this time, as he had successfully refined the 30th red diamond blood crystal, and his fleshly body underwent a third metamorphosis. This metamorphosis allowed his 9-turn Zhuang to be promoted to the peak of the 5th layer, and at the same time, his physical body, too, was upgraded to the peak level of a medium-grade treasure artifact. The current Kang Chia's strength had changed drastically, and if he met Zhuang again, he would at least be able to remain undefeated. Although there was still some gap between a peak mid-grade treasure artifact and the top-grade treasure artifact, under Kang Chon's powerful talent of overbearing blood, this gap would be reduced by a lot. Coupled with the Heaven Escaping Hand, Sublime Slash, and other divine abilities, Kang Chia already had the strength to fight Zhuanggang head-on. Boom! In the Land of Kings, over the Killing Sea, a huge treasure ship traveled away. On top of the treasure ship, 4 familiar figures stood, and if Kang Chia were here, he would recognize that they were none other than Dao Yi, Zhao Wuji, Wushuang, and Easy. These 4 people could be said to be the peak geniuses of the Heavenly Dao sect's current generation, as well as the top geniuses in the cultivation world. Moreover, they were all old acquaintances of Kang Chia. After so many years of cultivation, these 4 were now the top powerhouses in the King's Land, and the shock brought about by all 4 of them coming out together was so strong that if it was known, it would definitely stir up the entire King's Land. It won't be long before we reach the Sea of Misty Stars. I heard that this time the Devil's Dao has sent out 3 outbreeding stage Great Circle powerhouses, including Xuan Steel. Perhaps we can even collect his corpse for him if we rush over there. Hehe. A trace of schadenfreude flashed through Wushuang's eyes after the baptism of the orthodox and demonic battlefield. He was no longer as tender as he was at the beginning, and his whole body was filled with a strong aura, no longer resembling an emperor, but rather a god of war. After many years of cultivation, with the talent of his fire spirit body, he now had the invincible strength of the out-of-body stage, and belonged to the top in the Land of Kings. If he dies, not only will the Heavenly Dao sect lose face, even we will be looked down upon. After all, this is the first time the War Elder has commanded us to do a mission, and it's still the 4 of us together. Easy's face was like a spring breeze, and in his bright eyes, a light blue light flashed. Possessing the wine spirit body, nowadays, he was likewise an invincible existence at the outbreeding stage. And since this was not the Heavens Dao Demon ceiling ranking, there were no environmental limitations, so his strength was not much worse than Wushuang's. Is that so? Then I hope that God will bless him and let him live on until we arrive, Wushuang sneered. Even though they were all disciples of the Heavenly Dao sect nowadays, he was still haunted by his defeat to Kang Chia in the Heavenly Dao Demon ceiling ranking. So this time, when he saw that Kang Chia was in such great trouble, he was very excited in his heart. If it wasn't for Elder War's strong order, he wouldn't even have rushed to save Kang Chia, and he couldn't wait for Kang Chia to die in the hands of those Demon Dao disciples, especially when he heard that Kang Chia was rumored to be the first person under the outbreeding stage Great Circle. Wushuang's heart grew more and more cynical. At the prow of the treasure ship, there were 2 tall figures standing side by side. They were Dao Yi and Zhao Wuji, like the 2 geniuses at the peak of the Dao sect today, and also the 2 geniuses who had to shine the most in the battlefield of the righteous devil. Dao Yi closed his eyes and rested his mind, a pair of palms hidden in his long sleeves, behind his back, as he stood proudly at the prow of the ship, not knowing what he was contemplating. Although he didn't deliberately exude power, the aura that was unintentionally revealed made both Wushuang and Easy scornful. Next to Dao Yi, Zhao Wuji's eyes gazed calmly at the distant sky, silent and speechless, a faint golden glow flickering on his body. If Wushuang was now like a god of war, then Zhao Wuji was an actual god of war. Dao Yi's mysteriousness was scary. Zhao Wuji's power was so strong that it pressed down on people. Both of them had different personalities, but they were both incomparably powerful. Even supreme geniuses like Wushuang and Easy didn't dare to stand shoulder to shoulder with them at the moment, and could only stand on the slightly later side. Soon I'll be able to step into the outbreathing stage Grand Circle realm as well. Humph. Looking at Dao Yi and Zhao Wuji's backs, essence light flickered in Wushuang's eyes, transmitting an unwilling glow. Once upon a time, He was the second genius of the subterranean dragon ranking, and before he entered the Heavenly Dao sect, his fame had already spread to the Heavenly Dao sect. But relative to the entire cultivation world, he, Wuxia, was just one of the many geniuses. Compared to Zhao Wuji and Dao Yi, who were as popular as ever nowadays, he was too far behind. On the side, easy side softly, how could Wuxia's ambition be his ambition? Only that for so many years, he had been trying harder and harder to catch up. Yet he was still left far behind by the duo of Dao Yi and Zhao Wuji. Belonging to the same era as these two, we are destined to be relegated to supporting roles. Easy sighed softly and then stopped talking, closing his eyes and falling into deep thought. The huge treasure ship traveled horizontally, heading straight for the sea of misty stars, the righteous and devilish cultivators that were encountered on the way. After sensing the four powerful auras on the treasure ship again, all of them unanimously stepped aside and stepped back. To outbreathing stage great perfection powerhouses, to outbreathing stage invincible powerhouses. Such a combination could completely sweep through the entire Kingsland. At this time, 3 months had passed since Kangqiu had entered the Sea of Misty Stars. There was no impermeable wall under the sky, and the news of Kangqiu's entry into the Misty Star Sea quickly spread throughout the cultivation world. Immediately, both the righteous and devilish paths sent their experts to the Sea of Misty Stars. Nowadays, the Misty Star Sea had become the place where the strongest people in the Land of Kings gathered the most. And those invincible powerhouses of the out-of-body stage that were hard to meet in the past could be seen almost everywhere here. As for those out-of-body stage sealed emperor and sealed king powerhouses, they were even more numerous. So many strong people entered the Misty Star Sea, causing the perennially uninhabited Misty Star Sea to become very lively all of a sudden. Of course, there were both righteous and devilish paths among these people, and when the two sides met, fighting would naturally occur. Therefore, the battles in the Sea of Misty Stars were now even more intense compared to the rest of the orthodox and demonic battlefield. While these people were killing their enemies, they were also searching for Kangqiu at the same time. It was very understandable that the people of the Devil's Way were searching for Kangqiu. They were all there for the Dawnbreaker Immortal Order and the reward from the Cultivator Elders. As for some of the strongest members of the Righteous Path, they weren't good guys either. They wanted to take advantage of the strongest members of the Devil's Path to seize the Dawnbreaking Immortal Order before they did so. This was the hypocrisy of the Righteous Path, as the same disciples of the Righteous Path. They naturally couldn't seize the Dawn-breaking Immortal Order from Kangqiu, but they could totally watch the strongest of the Devil's Path seize the Dawn-breaking Immortal Order, and then they would make a move to snatch it, and in this way, they wouldn't be violating the rules of the Righteous Path. Of course, amongst them, there were also some Righteous Path powerhouses who wanted to rescue Kangqiu. After all, not every Righteous Path powerhouse was hypocritical. There were still some of the few good guys. As for Dao Yi and Zhao Wuji, the four of them were personally ordered by the War Elder to come to the Sea of Misty Stars to help Kangqiu out of danger. In the midst of a dark cave in the bustling Misty Star Sea, Kangqiu slowly opened his eyes, and two streaks of purple lightning shone out along his icy eyes. 35 red diamond blood crystals. Is this my limit? Kangqiu collected the remaining red diamond blood crystals on the ground, and a hint of exhaustion appeared on his pale face. Just a moment ago, he had already refined the 35th red rhombus blood crystal, but the pain caused by this red rhombus blood crystal almost caused his will to collapse, and at the critical moment, it was still an extremely high-grade elixir exchange from the Hall of Contributions that preserved him, or else his realm would probably have to fall a few levels. It's a pity. Just a little bit more and I would have broken through the 6th layer of the 9 revolutions Zhuanggong. Kangqiu sighed. He knew that the red diamond blood crystals he could refine had reached its limit. However, with my current strength, I'm already able to fight head-on against a great circle powerhouse of the outbreathing stage. Zhuanggang, just wait. Kang Qian's eyes were cold as he swallowed an elixir and began to recover his tired spirit. Nowadays, his physical body was already infinitely close to a top-grade treasure weapon, and with the amplitude of Kang Qian's hegemonic blood, it was almost no different from a top-grade treasure weapon. So he was confident and was already not afraid of Zhuanggang.